بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على نبيه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا مزيدا إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. A successful businessman with Allah seeks all that which pleases Allah. And your ibadah in itself is a business transaction, a business deal. And I didn't bring that terminology from myself. It's directly out of the Quran. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَتْلُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنفَقُوا مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ سِرًّا وَعَلَانِيَةً يَرْجُونَ تِجَارَةً لَن تَبُورَ. Those who recite the book of Allah, Quran, recite in the Quran, that's worship. Perform the salah, iqamat as-salah. Those who spend in charity from that which Allah provided for them, both secretly and openly, that's also a matter of worship, of ibadah. What about it? They hope for a sure trade gain with Allah that will never perish. Allah called it a trade gain, a business transaction, but a transaction that will never perish, and it's a win-win deal. One thing that happens is that most people tend to get locked in on certain ibadat and don't go beyond that to others. And over time, some ibadat become strange or abandoned or neglected. And there's a long list of those actually. But today inshallah we'll talk about 3 of them. The first one is asking Allah for forgiveness, making istighfar before Fajr, before the call of adhan, before Fajr. This is different than Qiyam, and this is different than Taraweeh. A worshipper seeks what pleases Allah in different forms and fashions. That's ibadah. والله بصير بالعباد الذين يقولون ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار. At the end of those verses Allah says والمستغفرين بالأسحار. Those who pray and beg and seek Allah's pardon in the last hours of the night. Sahar is the end of night, right before Fajr. That's why suhoor is called suhoor, because it's at the end of the night. After you do what you do, after you do Qiyam, after you recite the Quran and remember Allah, then you're going to go have a meal with your family right before Fajr. Then slip away. Slip away. And ask Allah for forgiveness right before Fajr. There's so much reward in it, so much honor in it, that you fall under the verse, وَالْمُسْتَغْفِرِينَ بِالْأَسْحَارِ. We said that Ramadan is an imanic therapy. To start some more ibadat, to better yourself. Start gradually in this. Start slow. Maybe 5 minutes before Fajr, maybe 3 minutes before Fajr, go sit and make istighfar. Don't listen to this and get all hyped up and inspired and then go do hours, because sometimes that's a shaitanic tactic, where he gets one to exert all his effort, gets inspired at something, gets all his exerts all his effort in one night, and then he leaves it. Ibadah is like when you buy a new car. They tell you gotta break in the engine, bit by bit. Don't go and drive at 70 miles per hour from the first day. You gotta break the engine in. What little of ibadah you do that continues is better than a lump sum that vanishes. While everyone is sitting at the table eating suhoor and breakfast, conversing in possibly vain talk and sometimes sinful talk, take a step away and go do istighfar. Say 70 to 100 times like the Prophet ﷺ, astaghfirullah, or any fashion or form, make istighfar. That's the beginning of a new ibadah in your life. All the times are good for istighfar. All. But this time is a time recommended in the Quran. Do it and you'll be among those praised by Allah in the Quran. وَالْمُسْتَغْفِرِينَ بِالْأَسْحَارِ. You do it and inshallah you'll get Allah's forgiveness. فَقُلْ تُسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. Allah will forgive those who seek forgiveness. You got financial problems? You're a couple having fertility problems? Istighfar is by a clear verse a medication for all that. And the best time is that time by suhoor. وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. You want strength? You want a position or promotion? You're trying to get in a university, they keep declining and rejecting you? Wallahi, head to istighfar and see. وَيَزِدْكُمْ قُوَّةً إِلَىٰ قُوَّتِكُمْ. Seek forgiveness from your Lord. He will send you from the sky abundant rain and add strength to your strength. Strength to your strength. A position, maybe a university you're trying to get, a promotion at work. You want to enjoy life? يُمَتَّعْكُمْ مَتَاعًا حَسَنًا. Seek forgiveness from your Lord. The verse says, seek forgiveness from your Lord and turn to Him in repentance. He'll grant you a good enjoyment in life. Ibn Kathir said this is in this life. Then the second sentence says, وَيُؤْتِ كُلَّ ذِي فَضْلٍ فَضْلًا وَيُؤْتِ كُلَّ ذِي فَضْلٍ فَضْلًا. It's the life after. So you get both out of istighfar. You want to be saved from evil, from punishment of sins in this life and in the life after. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ مُعَذِّبَهُمْ وَهُمْ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ. The mercy of Allah descends upon you with istighfar. لَوْلَا تَسْتَغْفِرُونَ اللَّهَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. If you have the mercy of Allah, what else do you need? Now tell me, is it worth it? Start in this blessed day, today. Make a determination to make it a habit. Right before Fajr, wake up a little bit early and make istighfar. Start with your tongue and make sure your heart is at the same pace as your tongue. Be consistent. And wallahi, you're going to see a change. If you doubt that, you're doubting the Quran. Now, a side issue. Why is the pre-dawn the time in the Quran specified? For a more special significance. And we know all times is good for istighfar, but why is it specified? Because that's the start of the day. A fresh, clean slate. That's what you need. So Allah can bless your day. So you will not be deprived of blessing. So when you start on a clean slate, forgiven from Allah, so Allah will bless your day. You're heading to work, a materialistic world and life. And Allah wants you to know the exact reason and purpose for why you were created. So make istighfar before your day begins. The entire 1/3 end of the night is a blessed time. I've talked about qiyam plenty and about 1/3 end of the night, but this is a special moment out of the 1/3 end of the night to seek forgiveness in Allah. The second ibadah that's become somewhat strange is the ibadah of tafakkur, to ponder, to contemplate Allah's names and qualities and attributes, the power of Allah. Ponder over the verses of Allah, the universal verses, the sky, the earth, the mountains, the day, the night, the wind, and the textual signs in the Quran, the verses in the Quran. Ponder over Allah's creation and His power in creating. Pondering? Yes, pondering. Did you turn Sufyan suddenly? No. This is a worship mentioned in the Quran. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. What does the end of it say? الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون. What does tafakkur mean? That's ponder. They remember Allah in their prayers. Standing, sitting, laying down on their sides, and they think deeply about the creation of the heaven and the earth. The creation of the heaven and the earth. They think about it. They ponder about it. They think about it. So when they ponder over that, where does that pondering lead them? Look at the next part of the verse. رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. When they ponder, Lord, they come to the right conclusion in their tawheed. It establishes tawheed within you. You haven't created this without a purpose. Glory to you, Ya Allah. Give us salvation from torment of Jahannam. Many other verses. إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ. To encourage you to ponder. Hundreds of verses in the Quran encouraging this. This is the ibadah that should flow with your other ibadat like a soul flows in a body. It must be restrained by revelation. You can't take it as a source. It's a matter that must be restrained by revelation. The worship of contemplating and pondering unlocks the heart and brightens the heart with that which the heart was blocked off from due to the tar of sins. It removes that tar. This ibadah opens the hearts to the meaning of the Quran and brings dosage after dosage of iman. This ibadah attains you certainty in Allah. It attains you fear in Allah, love of Allah, hope in Allah, reliance on Allah, continuous repenting, which is called inaba to Allah. This ibadah softens your heart. It softens those hard hearts. When you constantly contemplate the power of Allah, it humbles you. When you contemplate the forgiveness and generosity of Allah, it entices you to do better. Contemplating the verses of Allah, the signs of Allah, is soap that cleans your mind, your soul. Ponder in every matter that you see. Make it a habit. Raise yourself. Establish yourself to doing that. Abu Sulaiman ad-Darani said, I never left my house in seeing and laid my eyes on anything except I see Allah's blessing in it or His power over it. Well, what is that? Let me repeat, because this sums up this area. This sums up the whole area of this matter. Abu Sulaiman said, I never left my house except that anything I lay my eyesight on, I look to Allah's blessing in it or His power over it. Anything he sees, he looks to the blessing or His power of Allah over it. The verses that mention the sky, every time you look at the sky, ponder, who raised that sky with no pillars? You look at the sky, then look at the walls of your house. Every few months you need to call the handyman to fix it. Yet a creation is magnificent at the sky, years after years, sustained and maintained by Allah. When you ponder that, and you ponder that after you're walking out of the house and after you're walking out of the masjid, look and ponder and think and say, the one who did that to the sky is able to answer that dua that I just made at the masjid. Fill your heart with assurance. That's what it does. Do you understand now what pondering is? وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَعْقِلُونَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ Sit and visualize the life after. The details of the life after, the akhirah. Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak once visited Sahal ibn Ali. When he seen him zoned out thinking, what we today, you see someone zoned out, you tell him, snap out of it. Abdullah ibn al-Mubarak said, where did your thinking take you? Sahal ibn Ali said, I was at the Sirat. Sahal was daydreaming. How he's going to cross over that bridge over Jahannam. That's what he was thinking and daydreaming. In Musnad Ahmad and At-Tirmidhi, when Anas ibn Malik asked the Prophet ﷺ, he said, where am I going to meet you on the judgment day so I can get your shafa'ah, your intercession? He wants the intercession. The Prophet ﷺ said, you'll find me by the Sirat. He said, what if I don't find you there? He said, by the scale. He said, what if I don't find you there? He said, by the Kawthar. Do you think someone would ask such a question without having to ponder over that matter and thought about it for a long time in the details of the akhirah, in the judgment day? Ponder over the blessings Allah bestowed upon you. Ponder over Jannah and its mansions in the neighborhood your palace is going to be, and how big your front and backyard is, and how big your tent's going to be, and how happy your family is going to be reunited in a worry-free life. That pondering gets you to escape the trials and difficulties of the prison of this world. It'll bring you peace and contentment and place it and embed it in your heart. Ponder. Ponder being called by Allah to a meeting with Allah. It'll refresh your love to Him. It'll bring you a heavy dosage of taqwa. And it'll instill strong resistance against the shaitan because you want that meeting. Ponder over hell and the misery of the inhabitants of hell and their torture that melts the heart. And it'll melt your heart and get you to regret your past and revive tawbah in you and make you to plan a better future based on iman and taqwa. This ibadah takes you to yaqeen, certainty in Allah. When a Bedouin sat and pondered and thought in a desert, far from civilization or education, and led him to something better than most of the educated people of our time would know. Camels, dung indicates there was camel. Footprints indicate there was travel. A sky indicates, and with its constellation, and the sea with its wave, all that shows there's the all-knowing, the all-powerful. Thinking about those matters got him to realize Allah. So the third and final matter, and neglected one, and final, like because I said because of our time, is tabattul wal inqita' lillah. To sever yourself from all worldly matters and go to Allah. Every one of these worships is in the Quran. Devote yourself totally for Allah. وَتَبَتَّلْ إِلَيْهِ تَبْتِيلًا. Devote yourself to Him with a complete devotion. Complete devotion. Maryam alayhi salam was one of her nicknames, Al-Batul. She was called Al-Batul from this word, tabattal, because she severed herself or refrained from marriage so she can worship. And that's the terminology, tabattal. This doesn't mean you go to a cave or a place of our church, and you sit there away from this worldly matters. There's three types of tabattul. Like the Catholics and monks do, they go live in a place of worship with no marriage and other essential worldly matters. That's not Islam. Allah created man and knows what suits man, and He created part of Islam is to get married. Putting them in such places creates and generates pedophiles, not dedicated worshippers. They've come to realize that now, which Islam taught us 14 centuries ago, and they're thinking about changing it. But Islam told us that because our guidance comes from Allah, the Creator, who knows what best suits us 14 centuries ago. The second type of tabattul, devotion, is to take a certain time out of your day, night, 1/3 end of the night, and be in seclusion with Allah. Sever this world behind you and spend some time with Allah, 5, 20 minutes, whatever it may be. Ibadah, salah, dhikr, dua, reciting, devoting yourselves totally to Allah, complete devotion. And of course, the best times of ibadah, among the best times of ibadah of the day and night is the 1/3 end of the night. The third type of tabattul, and there's only few of the masses of the ummah who Allah blesses with this, is to put your mind and soul in the life after. Devoted, full devotion. Physically, they're with you. They are people you see physically with you, but their mind is absent in heavenly matters. People who speak, when they speak, you think they're talking to you 100% thinking about what you're saying, but their mind is telling them, is what I'm saying halal or haram? Does it please or displease Allah? You may see them sad for some sadness that happens, but inside they're attached to Allah with contentment and acceptance of Allah's destiny and decree. In a nutshell, it's really someone who's physically with you here, spiritually his mind is devoted in trying to please Allah. He is present and absent at the same time. That is among the levels of ihsan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us and you this level. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.